This is Monday, the 6th of February. I'm reflecting on what I've done this lesson. Today, I started generating ideas on my new idea, which is for creating a film noir around the gangster genre, but like the old school kind of gangster genre. I came up with this idea. Well, actually, let me start with the aim. The aim of this lesson was to generate ideas and like kind of make a plot and see like the conventions of what's featured in gangster films. So I started off by just writing down the aim. Then I started making ideas like what I could research, like what kind of music's used, like what the genre's about, a plot, inspired films like Gilda, Machine Gun Kelly. There's lots of others. Then I like looked into the shots of what's used, and then I started thinking about like what kind of package I could make, like posters. I could have trailers. It's just like the genre really kind of fascinates me because it's something different. I don't think a lot of people really focus on it anymore. I just really tried to develop methods of like how I could make my own film. So I started off by watching a few scenes from the film Gilda, looking how they were constructed and the conventions used. I realized that they tend to use a female character, and it causes conflict between the protagonist and antagonist. Usually, I'm not too sure if I may use a female character. However, I did think of using a female character as the main character to break conventions because that wasn't really um, popular back then. Plus, women didn't have the same rights as men back then, so they weren't shown as like main characters. Um, I also started thinking about like the history of like events that were happening at the time. Like there was the speakeasies era, like all sorts of what was going on, um, like bootlegging and stuff. I could bring those kind of facts from history like into my work. Um, yeah, it's just looking at like the kind of shots, like the shadowing and stuff, what's really been used, and how I'll be putting it into my work. What I aim to do research further is like the lighting, like what kind of lighting and how they used it, like not just the shadows and stuff, like how they will create the shots to focus the lighting on one person rather than the other. Something else that really caught my attention was the posters used. They're really like classic. You won't see any pictures of people like taken on a camera. It's really artistic. I have to research into how to create one of those or how I can get someone to do it. That's just all gonna come underneath the research that I need to complete. Other than that, yeah, I started watching the start of the film Machine Gun Kelly, and I started thinking that every single kind of gangster, they have a fear, and he has a fear of dying, and they kept on implementing the fear of death throughout the film to get the audience's attention. Maybe like in my kind of short film, I could implement something like that to carry on telling the audience, yeah, they're scared of so and so, and they typically have a weapon. Like for example, in Gilda, one of the main characters, he has a cane with a knife that comes out at the end, to show his masculinity. And also in Machine Gun Kelly, he likes machine guns, obviously. Something I found challenging was finding all these kind of conventions because whilst I was researching film noir, people were saying that it has like different categories. Like some of it has romance to do in it, some of it has the gangster genre, purely just like action and crime. Like it has a lot of conventions and genres within it. So that's what I kind of found hard. Like I didn't know what film to look at, and I'm still kind of searching into what kind of film I would like to make, as these are just creating ideas of the films I looked at already. To improve, next lesson, I will be researching more films and more conventions. I'm going to start looking at representation and more history to what was going on around those times, like famous kind of gangsters, how they dress, their personas, all of that kind of stuff.